And welcome to another episode of the Body and Mind podcast. This is our part two of our 2018 NFL preview. As always, I'm your host, The Mind. With me, as always, co-host The Body.
Oh, there's a bunch of teams that are ripping the AFC. You like that for a positive attitude?
Oh, absolutely. You ready to tackle this AFC?
Oh, I'm ready to take this thing down.
Well, let's start with the AFC East, where we have four formidable opponents coming up, all Super Bowl-worthy contenders.
Define formidable and contender. I didn't realize the Patriots were four teams.
All right, fine. So I guess
it's the Patriots and a bunch of imposters.
I have to. I guess we can only count them as one team. So in the East, we have Buffalo, Miami, and the Jets, which obviously are not impressing you as much as the Patriots.
I'm glad we did this in part two, because if we had done this right after supper, I might have lost some of it.
Well, how about we start then with, to get your digestion going, Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, let's start with Buffalo.
Let's start with Buffalo.
This team...
the great question here is, how many QBs can an O-line go through?
We're going to find out.
Their own O-line.
Because this offensive line, they suffered their surprise retirement of Eric Wood from center from a neck injury, and left guard Richie Incognito, who is...
attacking people at funeral parlors.
Oh, is he doing that now too? Because I know there's some other good news going on. That boy just never fails to impress. Between bowling a few years ago, attacking people at funeral parlors.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, really? What's the deal with this one?
Over the summer, he unfortunately his father passed away, so he was at a funeral parlor, I guess, making arrangements, and he made a request if they could decapitate his father's head. So, yes, fans, he actually made this request. If they could actually chop his own father's head off, because he wanted to take it for scientific study.
His dad wasn't a pro football player.
Obviously, he figured that maybe by studying his father's brain, he can figure out what's going on in his own screwed up head. I very much doubt it. In the funeral parlor, obviously the people there weren't agreeing with his mad request, and next thing you know, a fight breaks out, and Incognito, surprise, surprise, right in the middle of it.
Oh, he's so awesome.
So he's not intimidating fellow teammates. He's intimidating the funeral directors.
Oh, that is awesome. I didn't even know about that. That just made my entire week.
Yes, sirree. Incognito. Give me that head. Chop that head. So, how does teammates in Buffalo... How are they going to deal with the loss of this fine, upstanding citizen on the O-line?
The crazy thing is, this maniac leaving is actually going to hurt them. Yeah, he retired. I think they lost 20 years of experience between him and the center Wood. Yeah, I don't know if their offensive line is going to hold up. And even when I was reading one of my football previews earlier today, I'm looking at other teams who have signed guys who left Buffalo on top of that from the offensive line. So the offensive line is shaky, and I think it's been proven because McCarron is already hurt, and now Josh Allen's already hurt.
Yep. Yeah, he got concussed in the preseason game number 2. Two, right? Yeah.
So we're down to, as you call him, the pick machine, Nathan Peterman.
And
then after that, they might be calling us, which would work out really well, because at least Buffalo's near the Canadian border, so we could get back and get our free Medicare when we get knocked out of the game. Because anyone else who lines up after us is probably American, and it's not even about winning. It's just technically putting someone at quarterback at that point.
Pretty much.
And then they're going to be devastated, and then their family members are going to be devastated, because that offensive line is such a sieve that defensive linemen might track them down and attack their family and the crowd from lack of protection. Nobody will be safe in Buffalo. Fans will be going down because the offensive line can't hold up. Congratulations, Bills. Good luck, McCoy in the backfield. Oh.
Swiss cheesemakers are envious of your offensive line.
Oh, yes.
They have never made a cheese with that many holes in it.
No.
All right. Well, how about Miami? Another stellar contender from this fine, upstanding division.
Oh, yeah, with one of my all-time favorites, Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, wonderful.
Great. And then...
Yeah. They have reason for optimism here?
Well, they brought back Frank Gore, but I don't know how much time he has left. They have Kenny and Drake, a decent back. Receiver... They have a couple rookie tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta look again. Oh, they got Amendola, who's all right, but he doesn't have Brady throwing him anymore. They got Devontae Parker, who hasn't lived up to potential.
They have Kenny Stills.
They have Kenny Stills, who's a great deep threat. The only problem is Tannehill can't throw a good deep ball. They got Albert Wilson, who is just average in Kansas City, so he should continue to be average here.
But you're missing the secret weapon.
Oh,
the secret weapon that Miami has sitting in their holster, ready to pull out any second. The Os.
Oh,
Osweiler, the backup.
Mm-hmm.
Big, huge, massive free agent acquisition of the year 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Is now there. How did they land such an impressive football player?
Because no one else wanted him. Remember, this is the guy Houston traded a draft pick to get rid of him?
To get rid of him.
And then Cleveland, who couldn't win games, got rid of him.
Yeah, Cleveland was so happy about the draft pick, and they made no mention at all that they were getting Osweiler along with the draft pick.
Because there was speculation that year that Osweiler might even get cut before training camp.
Yes, there was. Yes, there was.
Yeah, that's a fine acquisition. Offensive line, let's see, Mike Pouncey departed, good center, but he'd been banged up, I think. Let's see. Offensive line might be all right, but what are you protecting? Tannehill. Defensive line, they lose Sue, which is a big cap hit. I like him, but we agreed he was overpaid and inconsistent. Their outside defensive ends should be okay. They picked up Robert Quinn, who's a really good pass rusher. Can Cameron Wake still play at a high level for one more year? If so, they got really good pass rushers and decent depth there. But man, the defensive tackles, a little shaky. Linebacker is all right. Secondary is actually pretty good. Special teams, nothing special. I don't know. Their defense, I don't like the fact that weakness is at defensive tackle because you can run out of the gut and it doesn't help your pass rushers. And considering your offense isn't really special and your defense can't be out there all day, I mean, there'll be worse teams than Miami, but I just see 5-11, 6-10.
So it sounds like for Dolphins fans, the only thing they have to look forward to is Marlin spring training.
Yeah, or if the Hurricanes play well in college ball.
All right, so let's switch to, how about the Patriots? Well, another Super Bowl on the way?
Well, they'll win this division by forfeit.
I guess you have to when you don't actually have a credible contender.
I mean, Brady can go down and they can win this division with Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer, 9 years, 8 teams,
yes.
7 teams, I guess.
His second trip with New England.
Right. Not bad.
But yeah, this is definitely the class of the division. I think it's going to take Brady a while to find trust with his receivers, backfield by committee. I think the offense will be okay, but it'll take a bit of time. They got to get Edelman back, and I think by October, November, they'll be rocking like the Patriots again on offense. But they might be a bit off and on the first month. I think their defense is going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think the defense might even be a little bit improved, but it's one of those things. They'll give up yards, but not a lot of points, I think. Definitely the class of the division.
The amazing thing about this team, other than the fact that they have like Chris Hollywood Hogan as part of the roster, absolutely fantastic. My favorite name in the NFL. But the one thing that really stands out on this team is that they're paying their defensive backs by far the most money of any other position. Like the defensive backs, they're spending $46 million which I think is actually the most that any team is devoted to their secondary in the league. Like, no one even comes close, actually. Everybody else is somewhere in the 18, 20 millions is the odd couple of teams in the 30s, but like 45, 46 million basically for the Patriots. So obviously the deep ball is not happening against this team.
Well, they have two reasonably good corners. And if, Gilmore plays with potential, maybe a really good corner. They have three decent safeties. No, McCourty's a really good safety, and two other decent ones in Chung and the other Duron Harmon.
Mm-hmm.
They have decent depth. They actually picked up McCourty's brother from Tennessee to be a slot corner. Mm-hmm. He's decent, not great. I mean, they have depth there, which is good when teams come out multiple receiver sets, and Belichick always coaches defensive backs really well. So it's not really all-stars for the most part back there, but it's a lot of depth.
Okay. So, Patriots.
Yeah, and special teams, of course, are always reliable and stuff like that there. So,
of course.
It's not like some of these teams that got an offense, got defense, lose games on special teams. That's the Patriots. They're pretty strong everywhere. The only question I know there's a lot of Alex Guerrero questions right now, and it terms Brady, and he hangs up on people and walks away from conferences. I don't think that's going to be an issue now, but if last year there was that tension late in the year, and if that bowls over late again this year, does it finally turn into a distraction?
All right.
I mean, they're Belichick and they're Brady, but at the end of the day, they're still human.
Yeah. Well, they're also... I question you on the human stuff.
I don't know about
I think both Belichick and Brady are actually robots.
Actually, might have something there.
I think they came along in the time machine with the Terminator, and they just got lost in the shuffle. Instead of like killing their targets, they became football players and coaches. How about the last team, New York Jets? Jets, Jets.
The Jets won't have a good year, but at least they're getting better and they're young. So there's it's a huge rebuild. So it's at least with them it's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Where I just slam Miami's mediocrity and Buffalo's off it. Yeah, at least the Jets have a reason. Maybe Buffalo will eventually. Miami to me doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
They do have the deepest QB pool in the league.
Well, they have McCown, who played reasonably well last year.
Uh-huh.
Bridgewater's looked good in camp. Sam Darnold will be a decent NFL quarterback eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Forte retired at running back, but you've seen better days. They've got decent running back by committee, I think.
Isaiah Crowell, Belial, and Elijah McGuire.
Yes.
Oh, and Lou Rawls is there,
Lou Rawls is there. Your boy Lou Rawls.
Oh, boy, Thomas Lou Rawls running for Jets.
Robbie Anderson's a really good young receiver. Curse is, solid. A couple other decent guys. They're going to miss Austin Safarian Jenkins at tight end, who went to Jacksonville. I think that's going to be a huge loss. Their offensive line wasn't that great last year. We'll see how it holds up this year. It was partially injuries last year, so we'll see. If they can stay healthy, they might be formidable on the offensive line. Defensive line, they've lost a ton of talent, but they still have a good young guy in Leonard Williams in their building. But yeah, they're missing people there. Linebacker, a little questionable there. Really good secondary, but I don't know if that matters much if your front seven's kind of a mess in front of you. Yeah. You can't cover forever.
By the time it gets to them, it's too late.
Yeah, exactly. You can't cover forever. Special teams weren't that great last year. I don't know if they brought in a new coach this year. I can't remember. If they did, that might help improve it. If not, when you're that bad, you can't be bad on special teams too.
Yeah.
A lot of holes with this team, but with the massive rebuild they started last year, that was to be expected. So it's one of those things, going to lose a lot of games, but for them, there's truly a process in place.
All right. So in this mighty division,
I think they're still fourth.
Obviously, New England number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two.
Miami or Buffalo.
Really, both of them over the Jets.
Could the Jets finish?
I would have thought the Jets would be like second. I don't see any, what is there in Buffalo or Miami?
You know, you might be able to convince me.
like,
Man, don't-
in Buffalo, the quarterbacks are all getting taken down by their own offensive line. Miami sort of kind of has a quarterback, sort of kind of. He sort of kind of has some receivers, and they sort of kind of have some defense. But
I'm gonna go New England, Miami, Buffalo, the Jets.
all right,
But the Jets might actually win games at home against Miami and Buffalo.
all right.
I'd like to see you right in the Jets finish second, and that is actually possible.
Well, you got New England, Miami, Buffalo, Jets. I say Jets number 2.
That's possible.
So
I don't have the guts to go there, but that's possible.
Let's see where this ends up.
You might have something there. I actually hope you do.
Yes.
Because there's just something about Miami and Buffalo that just disgust me.
Oh, it's just uninspiring teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. AFC North, speaking of uninspiring. Here's a division that fails to impress pretty much every year. So we have Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. Let's start in Baltimore. Joe Flacco about to earn his $25 million a year salary.
I don't think he should be getting paid that much. Here's the thing. Flacco, to me, gets a bad rap. When he won the Super Bowl, there were some people saying, well, maybe he's an elite quarterback. And I never thought he's an elite quarterback.
Elite.
Who's the other guy we were talking about earlier? Alex Smith. Too much. Yeah, Flacco kind of falls in that category. I think people who hate him too much. People who move him to elite when he won the Super Bowl need to dial it back. Here's the one thing everyone forgets about. One of the things everyone forgets about Joe Flacco. Actually, a couple things, because some of their offensive coordinators have been so-so for one. I don't think he's always had great offensive systems. And here's the other thing. How often in his career has Joe Flacco really had people to throw to? Like, we talk about New England, and they just kind of get some people out there, and Aaron Rodgers. But A, Flacco's not in their class, and B, Baltimore's receiving cores are worse than those teams consistently. It's like the one year he actually had a couple people to throw to, and an reasonable offensive coordinator in Kubiak. They won in Kubiak. They won Super Bowl.
Interesting. All right.
So
good points.
I think he's a guy, and he was pretty hurt last year too. He's a guy who gets a bad rap by people, just a really bad rap. I think he's a reasonable NFL quarterback. They need to give him help, and I think this year they actually got him some help. They signed John Brown and Michael Crabtree and Willie Snead. And I mean, those aren't huge, big-time game breakers, but you at least have reasonable wide receivers right now. And they actually have a decent running back with Alex Collins. And that defense is still pretty good. I think the Ravens may have a shot at the wild card and may even push Pittsburgh again this year for the first time in a while.
All right. Well, they did draft Lamar Jackson this year in the first round to put a scare into Flacco. So far in the preseason, I guess it sounds like it's been working.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I think he actually has people to throw to now.
All right. Next, how about we go to Cincinnati? 0-16, here we come.
I don't think that bad. They'll win 2 or 3 games. Neither one of us is high on this team.
No, I definitely am not. The second that I heard that they were retaining Marvin Lewis, I pretty much burned all my Bengals paraphernalia and started eyeballing the Browns once again.
You're a man of loyalty.
I was looking for hope, and I saw it in Cleveland.
But at least you didn't jump ship to a contender. So, hey,
So Cincinnati, given my complete and utter disdain for their coach and their useless quarterback,
who I'm looking at a preview right now, and this is one of the worst pictures I've ever seen in history. It's too bad we're doing strictly audio, because I'm going to show this to you and no one else can see the justice to it.
Oh my God, Lord help us. Like Andy Dalton with his spiky haircut there looks like he should be on Leave It to Beaver.
Well, it's combed back except for one thing that looks like it doesn't, one part in the middle, it doesn't know if it's spiked up or wants to be a man bun when it grows up. I don't even know how to describe this thing.
His hairline, his hairstyle reflects the team. It's confused.
And his smile, which looks like the Joker, kind of lines up with his eyebrows, which kind of lines up with his mouth. Oh my God, what is this?
So
this is the leader of the team? Remember last year on 4th down late in the game?
Oh, yes, I do.
And he threw the ball away? Because you don't want to turn it over on 4th down.
Absolutely.
Late in the game when you got to win.
Especially when you're down by like multiple touchdowns and there's only 6 minutes left in the game and you've decided to go for it on the 4th down.
You got to make the safe play and throw it away since you don't want to turn it over. Oh, yeah, it's 4th down. You're turning it over.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's throw it in the stands because I don't want to. Oh, wait. Yeah.
That is a turnover.
It's a turnover. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, Dalton. Well done. Yeah, that's good game presence. So these goons of AJ Green, LaFell
got cut.
Of course he did. See, that's how much I'm paying attention to this team. Eifert, I think he actually played a preseason game.
Nice.
I wonder if he'll actually play any regular season games.
Yeah, we'll see. John Ross has potential if he could stay healthy. He didn't do anything last year. I like him, but yeah.
So you see this bold new direction using the exact same management.
Well, they ran the ball. They ran the ball late last year, and they're going to commit to the running game. But yeah, they're still going to lose way more than they win.
All right. So let's go to a team with hope. How about let's go to Cleveland? Is it Baker's world and we're just living in it?
No, it's Tyrod Taylor's world and we're living in it. Until Baker takes over.
You did not just say that.
I think Baker is our future, but I think Taylor early and let Baker get.
In Tyrod we trust?
For right now, yeah. And I watched a bit of the preseason, and I think Baker will be okay, but he's not ready yet.
All right. What about the rest of this team? There's a lot of good feeling going with the Browns right now.
Well, there's only one place to go is up when you're 0-16 and 1-31 in the last 2 years. The Browns have been a model of consistency throughout the league.
So do you mean that all the hype machine surrounding the Browns is due to exceptionally low expectation?
There's a positivity. Maybe they think they can win 5 games this year.
Whoa. Look out. That's like a 5,000% increase.
Though you know what, though? You got Josh Gordon and Jarvis Landry at receivers, so you have receivers.
Yep. Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson, Nick Chubb, who they drafted this year.
It's not a bad committee of running backs.
Yeah. Their defense, which last year was one of the top 5, I think, running defenses.
Yeah, but they're going to lose Danny Shelton to the Patriots. We're going to see how well. If they could replace him, if the other 2 guys could step in like in his place, they'll be okay there. And, their offensive line's okay. So if they could run the ball well and Taylor doesn't turn it over and special teams are good, special teams look pretty average here, but if they could get any, this team could win some games. Not a lot, but I know I was critical of why they took T.J. Ward first. Was it T.J.? It's Ward. T.J. Carey is thinking on the other side. They signed him. Denzel Ward was a draft pick at corner, and I didn't know why they picked him 4th overall. I think he'll be a good corner. He didn't seem like he'd be good 4th overall to me. I thought they should have drafted there's a couple of really good safeties. But then when I see what they did, they had already filled safeties, so they actually had a plan. I can kind of see it more now. They picked up Demarius Randall from the Packers. Now, Randall was a disgrace at time at corner, but they're moving him back to free safety, which apparently is his position. So maybe he'll be okay there. Jabril Peppers, I think, will be a really good strong safety. Corners might be all right. So, I don't see 1-15 or 1-16. I still see far more losses than wins. But I see a reason for optimism. I'm not big on Hugh Jackson coming back as coach because I don't care how much garbage you have on your roster. You got to be better than 131 in 2 years. Unless they're just keeping him there until maybe they have a guy in mind and that guy isn't available.
Okay. Yeah. There's an assistant coach out there that'll be available next season.
Or maybe another big name head coach
And
from
he was
college or
just
in the NFL.
keeping that seat nice and warm.
Maybe. Well, I'm not even thinking if there's an assistant coach they were eyeing, they'd grab him now. Maybe there's some other head coach somewhere, or former head coach.
Bill Belichick coming back to his old team?
Actually, the crazy one I was actually thinking was I don't think he'd ever leave Alabama, but Nick Saban.
Oh.
Belichick.
Second shot at the NFL.
Not just second shot. He was Belichick's defensive coordinator in Cleveland.
Oh, here we go.
Don't think it's going to happen, but it's just great to stoke the fire and start some stuff.
Love starting stuff. All right. So those are the Brownies. And let's finish off the AFC North, the Norris of the AFC, with the Steelers. Is the Super Bowl time again?
Nope.
Okay, so we're done with the Steelers.
They'll score points, they'll give up points, and not sold on defense. I think defense won't be bad, but they're really going to miss Shazier. They'll have decent pass rush, but don't know about their linebackers and coverage. Secondary's okay.
So making Antonio Brown happy with a brand new contract, this isn't going to put him over the edge?
No, Bill, keep them there. They'll keep them in contention.
Getting rid of problem child there, Martavius?
That was a good idea on their part. I think they'll contend, but I just have trouble seeing them in the Super Bowl. Mind you, the AFC isn't super deep, and if New England falls aside, there's a possibility. But if they get there, I have trouble seeing them beat any of those NFC teams.
Right.
That we've mentioned.
Okay. So, AFC North, to win this division, are we seeing Pittsburgh or Baltimore?
Pittsburgh with Baltimore having a shot. I'll go Pittsburgh 1, Baltimore 2, but I think Baltimore's got a legit shot.
All right. Number 3, which of the Ohio teams?
Which of the Ohio teams?
Cleveland or Cincy?
I'll go with Cleveland over Cincy.
Good.
I'm almost wondering, should I go Baltimore over Pittsburgh? Yeah, I'm going Baltimore over Pittsburgh.
All right, I like it. It's changing along the top. The top is changing. The evil empire is going down. It's time for the birds to fly again.
Yes.
Caw-caw.
Quote the Raven nevermore.
Beautiful. Edgar Allan Poe and the pro wrestler.
The Raven.
The Raven. So, let's go to the South. We've got enough cold and chills. How about we get to the sunny south of the AFC? In here, we have Houston, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, and Tennessee. Let's start with Houston. In Deshaun we trust?
This whole division has more question marks than a month of the Riddler and the Joker together. Does Watson stay? This is just team number 1 we're covering.
Yep.
Does J.J. Watt stay healthy? Does Clowney stay healthy? If they stay healthy, do they play well together? Does Merciless come back? Does Watson stay healthy? If Watson doesn't stay healthy, they're sunk because their offensive line isn't that good, and he makes up for the not-so-good offensive line. The defense should be okay, but if they start getting injured again, if people stay healthy enough, man, I think the weeks they got everyone together, they're going to be pretty good weeks. But I don't think they're going to have everyone together every single week. I think they're going to have a winning record.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be a lot of up and down. There's going to be weeks they might miss someone and it doesn't work out well. It's going to be weeks. I'm going to go 10-6, but this team, depending on health and how things break, this team could be anywhere from 5-11 to 11-5. I'm going to go 9-7. No, I'm going to go 10-6. I'm going to trust in Watson staying somewhat healthy.
Okay. And they are fairly unchanged, really. Not a lot of any new players into the starting lineup anyway.
No.
So all right. So they're rolling with what they're hoping will be all the guys they actually drafted.
Oh, good luck.
Speaking of luck, hey, how about Indianapolis?
This team's awful.
Is luck here to stay? Upright?
I don't think so.
You talked about question marks, all the question marks with Houston. Obviously, the big matzo ball here is Andrew Luck's health.
Mm-hmm.
If he's healthy, can this team make any kind of noise? Can this team make the playoffs?
No.
We know without him, they have no shot.
With him, they have no shot.
With him, they have no shot.
That's what I'm saying right now.
So
their offensive line is better. They're really let's look. I really like their head coach Frank Reich. Their new head coach. I think that worked out better than getting Josh McDaniel. Actually, here's the thing though. I think Luck still throws too many picks.
Mm-hmm.
I think he holds on to the ball a little too long sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think he lacks targets after T.Y. Hilton.
Mm.
I think their defense is atrocious.
So there's really still, even with Luck, it's still basically a season of pain coming.
Oh man, it's Andrew Luck against the world.
Eesh. Obviously, these guys have not been drafting anything even to have to a level of competency.
Yeah, not really. I think they have new management in that, but I mean, it's going to take a while to build to get out of the mess of the old management.
All right.
This might be a group of a plan, but just in the immediate future, I don't see an immediate future for them. I do like the fact they're going back to a 4-3, though.
Mm.
That may be a good thing for them. I mean, there are still worse teams out there because they have Luck. Yeah, I don't know. I just see a tough year for and I mean, their offensive line's better than it's been in a couple of years, but the last time Luck played, there wasn't this Jacksonville team in their division.
And
that might
coincidentally, that's who we're talking about next. Jacksonville.
This team might single-handedly kill that guy this year.
So with Jacksonville, obviously the defense is getting paid, as we've seen. Can the O stay out of the way?
It's going to be interesting because they've overhauled that receiver. And then Marquise Lee, who wasn't just their best veteran receiver, their best blocking receiver, their leader of the receivers, out for the year.
Out for the year?
Out for the year.
Oh, I did not.
Just this weekend. Done for the year.
Oh, my.
So they got Safarius Jenkins, a good tight end, but he's more of a pass-catching tight end than Mercedes Lewis used to be their blocking tight end. They cut him. I don't know. I would have kept Lewis because with that running game, it's nice to have the blocking tight end there. I would have had them in and out. Yeah, they drafted a kid by the name of DJ Clark at receiver. Might be all right, but we'll see if it takes time. They picked up Dante Moncrief from Indy. Yeah, I don't know about that. So I don't know. They had a couple of decent young receivers who showed potential last year.
Leonard Fournette?
It's going to be a lot of the running game, and they picked up another really good offensive lineman. So does Bortles have another reasonable year in a row? A second one, they keep pounding the rock, and do this wideouts let them down. Love their defense. A lot of it's going to be health. Because I don't know if they could afford injuries anywhere. I think a big part of this, too, is going to be how the season starts for them. They're still a young team.
Yep.
They start the season
at the Giants, then
and then at home to New England,
and then so at the Giants, home to New England, and Tennessee and Jets after that. Okay,
so this is the way that plays out for me. At the Giants, we talked about the Giants in the NFC one. I'm not sure how that team's going to be this year. I think I said it around 9-7 or something, or 500-ish in that ballpark, maybe 7-9.
Yep.
Their offense, I don't know how much their offense is going to do against Jacksonville, but you're really seeing this group for the first time improved. Defenses are never as good on the road as at home, though Jacksonville's was really good everywhere last year. But the thing was, one of the losses that Jacksonville had late in the year was in Arizona. And where this comes in is the defensive coordinator who thwarted them in Arizona is now the defensive coordinator of the Giants. And it is in New York, and it is opening day. And this is a young team. Are they too comfortable after getting to the AFC Championship last year? So if they come out and win at the Giants, I'm really optimistic. If they come out and lose at the Giants, how do they respond against New England the week after? Because if they can respond, I think they're good enough to beat New England at home. But if they start 0-2, even with that talent, I think they're digging themselves in a hole.
Well,
I think this team could be as good as last year, but if they face any early adversity, it could get away from them quick.
Yeah, and I think there is a stat out there that teams that start 0-2
don't make the playoffs generally.
Like pretty much miss the playoffs 75 or more percent of the time, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, no matter all the talent and confidence and everything, yeah, if they start 0-2, there's going to be there's going to be some serious panic, I think, setting in right away.
Oh yeah.
All right. So again, as you said, this is the division of questions. Lots of questions with Jacksonville as well. And we end the last question mark in this division. Titans. Is average quarterbacking good enough for this team?
Yeah. And another question.
That's basically what we've gotten from Marcus Mariota so far. Nothing spectacular.
I think nothing spectacular from him, and I don't think a lot of help at receiver from him either. I like the running game.
Mm-hmm.
The offense is going to change up a bit this year, which might be a good thing. But still going to be a question. They have a good offensive line, though they do have some early injuries there. I think their defense is going to improve. More of a straight-ahead 3-4. And then they picked up Butler from New England and solidified their secondary. So I think their defense improves. Where does their offense go? This team could be about the same as last year or maybe a bit better, depending on the offense.
Receivers, they got Richard Matthews, Corey Davis. Any hope there? Yeah. All right, so really defense positive, offense
questionable.
Lots of question. So if we were to pick worst to first or first to worst, who's going to win this division? Jacksonville still or Houston? Looks like those are the top two contenders.
Yeah, those are the top two. And with Houston itself and Jacksonville, how they navigate through the early part of the season. I'm going to show faith in Jacksonville.
All right. Jacksonville, number one.
This division perplexes me.
Yeah.
Houston 2, Tennessee 3, Indy 4. The only thing really definite to me is Indy at 4, because Tennessee could even wind up winning this division.
Really? Dang, that's...
But if Tennessee wins this division, it's because Houston got banged up and Jacksonville disappointed. It's going to be with one of the worst division winning records.
So
it's not because I think Tennessee's that much better. It's because I think the other two teams would have to have disappointing seasons.
So it's really whose question marks get ticked off.
Exactly.
Those are the teams that are going to fail.
Yeah.
All right.
If Tennessee wins, it's by forfeit.
Yeah. Hey, just like New England.
Yeah.
All right. So the last division we've saved the best for last.
Oh!
In the AFC. The AFC West. Featuring Denver, Kansas City, the LA Clippers,
this was supposed to be
Chargers.
This was supposed to be division of death last year. It was a division of disappointment.
It was a division of disappointment. Rounding up last year's division of disappointment after the Chargers, your Oakland Raiders.
And remember, people called me crazy last year.
You're crazy.
Remember, I said the Raiders are going to have a downfall last year. What did I predict? 7-9?
7-9. And I thought you were crazy.
Yeah, you weren't the only...
I was one of the people that said, you're crazy.
Yeah, you weren't the only one. People are looking at me like, what? Don't you...
Doesn't matter. Let's reset the tape to last year. You're crazy.
Because people thought my beloved Raiders were going to be the team to contend with New England.
I thought your beloved Raiders were going to be a team to contend with New England.
And I said, no, 7-9.
So... do not doubt the Raider fan. Do not doubt the body. He knows of which he speaks.
They hit 6 wins, so they weren't far off.
However, we are going to start with the mighty, all-powerful Denver Broncos.
Oh, the Denver Broncos. I hate them.
Can Keenum's offense support their defense? Can he be the brazier?
The brazier? The man bra.
Can he be the man bra? Can he be the bro?
This is the man. It's gonna be the brazier. It's gonna be interesting. Let's see the new offensive coordinators. They got rid of Mike McCoy as a pretty decent offensive coordinator, but didn't have much to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I really like what Keenum did last year. I think a couple things are going to be though. who's calling plays, what's the system.
Mm-hmm.
Was Keenan a one-year sensation? Though I thought Keenan could do it again this year.
Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, are these credible targets to throw to?
If Thomas could hold on to the ball, yeah, he's really good. I think Sanders is very good. They might be both losing a step, but they're still solid receivers. Running back might be a little iffy, because that's one thing. There's definitely targets for Keenum in Minnesota, but I think the targets he has are okay in Denver.
I find it a strange reward for Keenum that after his epic last-second game-winning touchdown throw in Minnesota, his reward is not to have a bronze statue of him in front of the new U.S. Bank Stadium.
No, it's to be shown the door.
One-way ticket out of the city.
Yeah, he might be a guy with something to prove. So I don't know. I think he's going to have a reasonable year. I think their offense will be okay, not explosive, but I think it'll be a decent offense.
And the defense?
But the one thing is their offensive line has been kind of a revolving work in progress. So if their offensive line holds up, they'll be all right. If their offensive line has trouble, mind you, he creates better out of the pocket. I'm wondering if he's one of those guys, if you keep him in the pocket, he's in trouble. Because everything he did well in Minnesota last year seemed like when he broke out of the pocket. So it's going to be interesting to see. Defense, yeah, they're better against the run, but I don't think this is the... well, it's hard to say. I didn't think this defense was going to be as good as the last few years, but if this Bradley Chubb kid turns out, yeah, they might be pretty dominant because they still have Miller on the other side. Not sure about their inside linebackers being as good. Their corners, their secondary is good, but it's not as good as it was a couple of years ago. This is still a very good defense. It's not what it was a few years ago, but they get a little support from their offense now. Hard to say what they get from the Broncos. You know what, though? I'm not convinced about their head coach, Vance Joseph, though. So I'm going to go 9-7 with a team that's really talented enough to be 13-3.
Okay. I like it. Speaking of talent, Kansas City. They've been shoring up their offense for the last couple of years. Is Mahomes ready to dominate?
Is Mahomes ready? He'll make mistakes. I think he'll have some. I think he's going to have some of those weeks where it's 3 picks. I think he's going to have some of those weeks where it's 350 yards passing. It's kind of the growing bit. I think you're going to see kind of the good and the bad, and you're not sure which every week.
All right.
They got Kareem Hunt at running back. They've got Kelsey. They've got Tyreek Hill. Sammy Watkins, I think, will play well when he's healthy, but I don't know how much he'll be healthy. Offensive line took a beating at times last year, but I don't know what it is about KC. Their offensive line always turns out to be generally okay. Defense, they seem to hold in there. They seem to me to hold in there better than they are on paper. It's going to be interesting. No Marcus Peters in the secondary. That's going to be a huge blow. I don't know if that's going to catch up to them.
Justin Houston.
Yeah, really good player. This is another team. I see 9-7, but in a different route than Broncos. I see Broncos. I really do like their head coach, Andy Reid, except in the playoffs. I see talent in some places and glaring holes in others.
Okay.
So some weeks that talent's just going to outshine teams. Other weeks those glaring holes are going to be obvious.
So probably not quite ready to contend yet.
I'd say they're kind of like Denver, 9-7, but they're heading to 9-7 in a different fashion Denver is.
Okay. Well, then let's go down to La La Land with the LA Chargers. Are they really for real this time? For real. Like, really.
Part of me wants to say yes, but it's like, how many times can you fool me?
For real.
Yeah, that's the thing.
No, we're for real this time.
Yeah, really, we are.
Really. We're good. We're really good. You can trust us.
Well, that's been the issue, is trust with this team.
To quote the Who, you won't get fooled again.
I trust Philip Rivers. Well, if I get fooled repeatedly with this squad. I don't know about the targets for Phillip Rivers, but he has Keenan Allen's had health issues, but like he stayed healthy last year, I believe, and he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can stay healthy for a second year in a row, and you got Hunter Henry, he's a really good tight end.
Actually, Hunter Henry's gone.
Where'd he go?
He's done for the season.
He's hurt for the year?
Done for the year.
Ooh.
No Hunter Henry.
Oh.
Virgil Green, that's your man.
He might turn out under Rivers, though. That might not be so bad.
Yep. Melvin Gordon carrying that rock.
Yeah, I think that'll help them a lot, and they do stick with the running game. I like their offensive line. I really like their offensive line, which helps them. They're running the ball. I love this team's defense, and I hate to say that because they're in division with the Rays, but I think they're going to have, mind you, their defense has had some issues against the run last year. And their kicking game was a disaster last year, which has killed them at times.
Some people feel that just by having Bosa back there, that's all the defense they need.
Not if they run the ball down your throat. Yeah, it's interesting because this team's talent says they should be better. You know, this could be a bunch of 9-7 teams, and they might have to go to tiebreakers. Because the thing is, as much as I like talent on this team, there are some holes. But the thing is, they just every year, it's like this is going to be the year, and then they're losing. They find ways to lose games by 3 points.
So with all these teams going 9-7, this could
throw them in the 9-7 tray.
This could be like the World Cup. They might have to go to fair play to decide the tiebreaker.
Fair play in the NFL. Awesome. League full of criminals.
Oh, the irony is thick.
Oh, something's getting thick.
Speaking of thick,
I shouldn't say that. There's like some upstanding citizens in the NFL, but there's probably more criminals going on in college coaching right now.
Oh! Boom! Here we go. Yeah, I think there's one guy in the NFL who's a pretty upstanding citizen.
There's a guy somewhere.
There's a guy
somewhere. I met him once. Can't remember who he is.
So. Speaking of criminals and darkness...
yeah, I missed the days when the Raiders were about criminals and darkness.
How about Oakland?
When the Raiders were a team of criminals and darkness, they won.
Oh, well, here we go. We're going back to, the 90s now?
No, you're going back to, like, the 80s when you're talking criminals and darkness.
Well, we are hiring a 90s coach, right?
Oh, John Gruden, yeah. There was a winning aspect then, yeah. I'm talking like when they're winning championships.
Oh, that kind of winning.
That kind of winning.
Oh, you're talking like crazy winning.
Oh, yeah. Like there's something to celebrate winning.
So, Oakland, you were initially happy as a clam about the signing of Gruden. Are you still excited?
Yeah, I still am.
All right. Is he the man that's going to turn this team right around and maybe break out of the 9-7 pack that the other three teams in the division are in?
They'll win the tiebreaker at 9-7.
Oh, they're going to win the fair play.
They're going to win the fair play. You know what? I said this before the start of the year, and I'm kind of worried now because the whole Khalil Mack sitting out thing kind of deters me. You know what? I'm still going to stick with it. I said the Raiders will get to the AFC Championship this year and lose. The Raiders will get to the AFC Championship and lose.
Okay. Interesting.
There's some holes on this team, but this is the AFC. By no means the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
How many powerhouse teams have we talked about in this conference?
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't like New Orleans and Minnesota and the Rams and the Eagles.
Right.
We talked about maybe New England, maybe this team, maybe that team.
Maybe Baltimore.
Maybe Baltimore.
Maybe Houston.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, there's
maybe Jacksonville.
Yeah, there was no.
There's
powerhouse.
No obvious powerhouse here except probably New England.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even that powerhouse has some creaks to it.
So with Oakland, like their offense, like Amari Cooper last year was a bit of missing persons. Like I think I saw his face on a milk carton I bought.
Oh, I believe it.
Along with Derek Carr was right beside him actually.
Mm-hmm.
Will they be found? Will their game be found this year?
You know what's gonna
Marshawn
be
Lynch.
found? The running game's going to be found.
Are there enough Skittles to get Marshawn Lynch going again?
Oh, it's beast mode. It's going to be like, I can't remember the exact year. I remember there's one year the Raiders led the NFL in rushing under Gruden, because you think of him as a passing guy, with the duo of Tyrone Wheatley, who is thunder, and Charlie Garner, who is lightning.
Nice.
I think now they're going to do it with Lynch, and then there's Richard, and there's also Washington, who both have lightning.
Don't forget Doug, my favorite Martin.
Oh, I want to forget him. They like him, I don't. But maybe he makes the team anyways. They've drafted some good young defensive tackles. I mean, it's not going to be a powerhouse defense. And if they get Max signed, it'd be an improvement for sure. But, I just...
Has the defense done enough this offseason to give you any hope?
A bit of hope. Without Mac, it's going to be trouble, but
right.
It's still a radical improvement from what it's been. They brought in some decent players.
So, Mac, he's basically wanting $20 million, and you say pay the man.
Yeah, I'm usually not big on pay the man. But he's a premier pass rusher, and their cap space, if they pay him he's making slated to make $13.5 million this year. So if they give him the $20 million, they'd be right up against the cap this year. I think they have about $6.5 million left.
Right.
But who else are you signing this year? If someone gets hurt, you're signing a bum replacement at this point anyways.
Right.
And then next year, they have tons of cap space. So sign the man. I think the only other guy you have to sign to a contract after may be Cooper.
Right.
And then after that, you just need role players with all that cap space, unless they have a bunch of other guys re-sign. But there's ways to, sign the man.
You need him, sign him.
I think besides maybe Von Miller, best defensive player and pass rusher in the NFL.
All right. So I'm actually just curious on receivers. Jordy Nelson is there now. Is this happiness?
I think he'll be okay. I'm not happy about Martavius Bryant, the head case, being there.
Yeah. You don't see this as like a New England-style reclamation project that could yield massive benefits?
No.
So for your Raiders, do you see them 500 this year, or is 7-9 in the cards again?
No, I see them
9-7.
9-7, maybe even 10-6. I see like a decent regular season where you see some issues at times and questions, and then them getting hot in the playoffs.
All right.
And getting to the AFC Championship and losing.
All right. And losing.
Which would still be joy in my world with everything I've seen from this team. And
true. So with
remember, I said 7-9 last year.
You did.
So if I'm saying AFC Championship this year, I think they have a shot, no matter what people think.
All right. So for the 9-7 division, who's going to win it? Is it
the Raiders?
The Raiders, of course, the Raiders. That's right. They won by the fair play rule.
Raiders, Denver, KC, and the Clippers.
I like it. Oh no! Hope for the Clippers here.
They're going to miss coin tosses like they miss field goals.
Boom. Just like that. So, yeah, with that, then, that is our review of the AFC. And if you listen to part 1 of our show, which you should, that is the review of the 2018 NFL season.
I want to tackle your Chicago Bears piggy bank right now.
Hey, you leave my piggy bank alone. It's cute, it's fat, and it's, I think it's filled with money.
I'll leave it alone. Actually, it kind of is cute and fat.
Yeah, you can't tackle something that cute and fat.
No.
So, thanks for another great show, Body.
Well, it's been a pleasure, especially discussing the return of the National Football League.
Boom. And thank you all for listening. Please remember to subscribe and like our show and channel. Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Body and Mind Podcast.